Hey, good morning, everyone. This is the Morning Blitz Sports Talk Radio episode 6 on Parsons Sports Network. And let's get into the NFL training camp news. Giant training camp buzz. The veterans have reported rookie QB Jackson Dart is under scrutiny for playing time versus Russell Wilson, while defender Abdul Carter is already being hinted and being praised to be the defensive rookie of the year. Across the league, Mecca Parsons reports to the Cowboys camp amid ongoing contract talks and will Leafs is sidelined for the season following a serious winter. Also, TJ Watt got an extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go to the Major League Baseball rundown. Yankees stumbled a 4-1 in Toronto. Weak offensive era by Oswald to hurt the team. They aim to bounce back tonight. The Nationals win a slugfest over the Reds, 10-8 in DC. Randy Singer takes the loss. Tonight's match goes for the Braves with maybe I'm reading this wrong. It's the Reds versus the Braves. Here's Tate Burns and Brad Lord. Wow, that was a little confusing. For soccer, all right, the Premier League summer spurge nearly €2 billion spent so far, highlighting includes Manchester United signing Embello, €65 and at €6.2 10 years ago. The Arsenal lands in Norda, and then Liverpool scoops for Blitz. Losses TAA to the Real Madrid. Arsenal close to landing another player, and then pursuing another. I can't pronounce names, I'm not being good at College Alumni and Pro Basketball League. The TBT Sweet 16 basketball Kentucky Alumni team La Camilla faces in drive tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Mexico. The WNBA expansion alert keeps going to 18 teams by 2030, adding Chicago in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philadelphia in 2030. Some experts worry about competitive depth. Let's touch base, okay? So right now, currently, they are demanding the WNBA owners to what's this person? I know who you are. And he's commented on this week. Get going, but we'll move on to that. So, going back to what I am trying to say here. WNBA is still, the players still don't get it. They have to rely on the NBA. So, with competitive depth, they added these other teams. Okay, so is it really competitive that you're worried about? Or are these newcomers worried about the growing concern of the athletes demanding more money than what they actually should be hoping to make profit? And first of all, I think expansion each year will last the next the next 2 years, kind of ridiculous. What they need to do is hold off, move all the teams to DB in 2030. That means you have 5 years. That's what I said yesterday. You have 5 years to prove that WNBA is reliable, self-sustainable, does not lose money for the first time, and does not have a reliable. By doing what they're doing, that's not what they're doing. They're proving the opposite. They're saying, "Oh, NBA will pay for this." Well, that's what that's celebrating. And that's always been the problem. That is definitely the problem. WNBA once again does not realize that the NBA is making only their keep it afloat. And now they're like, hey, let's just do these, let's bring in, these more teams to add on to a much more critical situation. I'm not a fan of the idea of doing it each year. What they need to do is move all the expansion teams to 1 year, roll them all in at once. That way, you have 5 years to prove that you can survive without the NBA getting bankroll and essentially grow from there. When you are doing what you are proposing to do, you're not doing that. You're essentially hoping that NFL can, bankroll your plans. And Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, is not happy about Caitlin Clark's injury. Kind of, told them they get the pitching settled. The injury was supposedly under question. If that is the truth, I don't blame Adam to change for someone to get fired. And that right there goes back to what I said about the WNBA is under the thumb of the NBA. Let's go over to some NFL news. Aaron Rodgers heads the Steelers in what may be his final season, while QBs like Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, Kirk Cousins in Atlanta face key roles or bench spots. This is some serious news. We already know that Kirk Cousins essentially ran the bench. He's QB number 2, and he may be trying to force the Falcons to release or trade him. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to commit to the role of mentor for my defense, which I don't agree with that. That's a coward move by Kirk Cousins. Stuck it up, Buttercup. Be a role model. Help this young man develop, and then who knows? Maybe that will boost up your freaking stock to be somewhere else starting. What you're doing now is career suicide by not helping that man develop. That's on you, Kirk Cousins. Grow up. All right. The Giants QB carousel. Russell Wilson expected to be the start of week 1 with Jameson Wilson backing him up and rookie Jackson Dart largely closely during training camp. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Russell Wilson will be week 1 starter. Jameson Wilson will be his backup, and Jackson Dart will be on the roster. They will find a way to put him in that rotation. However, once Winston struggled once, neither one of them struggled. Because the ball. No. The Jets reboot. Justin Fields takes the reins in a new coaching era alongside veteran contract extensions for Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. The Jets are the Jets. I hope Aaron Glenn or Glenn Aaron or whatever his last name. It's echoing. See if it's echoing. Oh, I know why it is. Thank you for putting it up there. Fix that thing. It's only echoing because I'm right in front of the monitor. All right. So go back to what I was saying. The Jets are the Jets, man. I thought when they had Aaron Rodgers, they would have made the turn, but that just never happened. I'm not a Jets fan, but in the sake of football, from a football coach point of view, and from players, I used to play football, and when I look at this, and it's a mess over there, man. I mean, Justin Fields, I thought if he stayed in Pittsburgh, that would have been his resurrection from his whole career because the Bears ruined him. But he went from it's like the next team he's probably going to go on is the Browns at this rate if he doesn't, resurrect his career in New York. Browns QB battle. Deshaun Watson sideline a depth chart loaded with Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. Kenny Pickett's going to get cut. Let's just be real. He's not going to be there. That was a waste of a trade. I don't know why the Browns did it. We all know Joe Flacco was going to be number 1 starter. Backup's going to be Dylan, and Shadur Sanders will be right there waiting in the wing to pounce on the first screw up. It just It's about to happen. I don't know why anyone thinks otherwise. Chiefs and reset no after this 2024 Kansas City Chiefs are overhauling units for positional battles in training camp. I don't know. I don't know. 26 32 teams have reported to camp. Falcons and Steelers arrive tomorrow, which is the 23rd. Seahawks updates contract delay for Charles Cross, tight end. Competition following Noah Lance release. Why was Noah released? No clue. I don't. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. Rogers' possible final act reflect on the Hall of Fame legacy of the Steelers. At the storyline, and then its high emotional narrative weight. Okay, so here it is. Is Aaron Rodgers' legacy tarnished for going to the Jets and not just retiring? So this is the way I look at it. Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal quarterback. He's going into this knowing that this could be his last season. And rightfully so. He's like 40-something years old, and he's definitely no Tom Brady. He's definitely going to win another Super Bowl with whatever team he jumps on. With that being said, did they tarnish his legacy? His performance and record-wise, no. What he does outside of that is we're in the time and age where everyone picks and just is really stupid about what people say and do. So because the man has hallucination, has drugs, he does personal retreats to like hallucinate and get his mindset with some type of weird Zen culture going on, which everyone frowns upon, and he's just very vocal. That's what's tarnishing his legacy more than him still playing, and that's just the way I look at it. Is Jackson Dart going to become the star in the middle of the Giants season because of desperation? I believe that, and this is why I say this. Brian Duvall and the general manager of the Giants are desperate. They need a situation where they are turning this team around and they're winning. Let's be real here. The Daniel Jones experiment was a flop, and Barkley going to the Philadelphia Eagles stabbed him in the back tremendously. And let's put it out that reality show the Giants were on, and they paralyzed them losing Barkley to the Eagles. That should have been the end of the GM's job. He should have been fired. As soon as he signed with the Eagles, after that season, he should have been fired. The fact he's still there tells me how incompetent the Giants ownership is. I'm sorry. Keep the head coach. You get rid of the GM. You make the head coach in fact GM until you get shit in-house in order. And they have not done that. And I feel bad for all the New Jersey Giant fans. Ha! I call New Jersey. And that's what they are. They're the New Jersey Giants and we're the New Jersey Jets. Let's not get that confused. They don't play in New York City. They don't play in upstate New York. They play in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in New Jersey. If you want to be called New York, demand the town to rename themselves East Rutherford, New York, and have a legal battle with fucking New York. I hate the fact they call themselves New York Giants, which in fact they play in New Jersey. The Commanders, having Von Miller and Lubu featured in a part of their culture. Like, they're trying to build a Super Bowl contending team in general. The Washington Commanders are a scary team, and the concept now that they're poking around with maybe renaming the team back to the Redskins, those throwbacks are hot. Have you seen those things? They're on fire. They're dripping in excellence. Those Washington Redskins throwbacks. I do not like Pittsburgh Steelers throwbacks. They look like garbage. And that's a Pittsburgh. Um, NFL season's gonna be crazy. I think we're gonna have a whole balance shift. We're gonna see the Patriots creeping up behind the Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins will be the dumpster divers of the division, and I think the Jets will improve a bit. Not too much. I think they're gonna go 8-9. If we're gonna go on the realism talk here, let's be realistic. Let's look at all 32 NFL teams. Where is every team going to be? From the day after the draft to the first kick of the football. Where they're going to be. I like to do my early predictions. Does it mean I'm going to be right? No. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a preseason prediction. I'm going to do after week. So it's weird. Some people are like, why do you do 3 different predictions? Because NFL season, you have to contribute trades. So I go by what the roster is right now. Tell you what the records will be. Then after week 5, I do a final season prediction. Stick to that week 5 prediction. Because at that point, I've seen enough to know where these teams are going to go. So blindly, I do my season predictions, and I go right into my actual, real season long predictions. Some people are like, oh, that's not right. That's cheated if you wait for week 5. Not really, because we don't have that much of a preseason anymore. And then by the next year, they're going to go 18 games. I think it's stupid. NFL needs to stick to 17 games. I think it's better at 17. I think it's a clear cut. You know who's going to make the playoffs. It's no stupid math involved. I hate it. Hate it when they do those tiebreakers. They're this team won by 2 points more or whatever. It's like, that's stupid. Get that shit out of here, Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Major League Baseball. As I'm waiting for my notes to load. Let's see. All right. Phillies and Red Sox in one of the rarest walk-off plays ever. The Phillies won 3-2 on a catcher's interference in the 10th. Only the second such ended in Major League Baseball history. Eduardo Sosa's bat hits Boston's catcher, scoring the winning run. Bryce Harper added 2 doubles in the game. The Brewers surge. Milwaukee extended their win streak to 11 games, riding strong pitching. Brian Woodruff's 6 shutout innings to grab the best record in Major League Baseball at 60-40. We're already 100 games in. Holy crap. A lone home run show at the Astros rookie Bryce Matthews rocked his first 2 Major League Baseball homers, driving in 5 runs in a win over Arizona Diamondbacks. Dodgers bounced back. Los Angeles ended a 6-game streak at home with contributions from Will Smith, Shanola Arani, and Annie Pages in a win against the Twins. Other notables: Pirates shut out the Tigers. Guardians rolled past the Orioles behind a 2020 home run and steal base season from Jose Ramirez, and Braves rookie Drake Baldwin counted for 6 RBI in a win over the Giants, all keeping their audience engaged. All right, here we go. Trade deadline polls. With the lock set for Thursday, July 31st, 6 p.m. Eastern, contending teams like the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Phillies are positioning trending names, including Zach Gallen, Emmanuel Class, and then Kinsley Jansen, naming the few of the 3 that are on the thing. Yankees season matrix show they're unlikely to be 55-45 instead of wins. Experts said they're due for a bounce back. Let me kind of hit you up on this one. Yankees. No. Listen, the New York Yankees, They'll be lucky if they do better. I'm just going to say it as it is. Okay? When I go up here and I look at the stand-ins, let's see. Yeah, the Yankees are 55-45. They are telling me that they should be 59. It's 59 wins still. Impossible. It where was I today? All right, so here we go. Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East, 59-41 for their record. 59 wins. They're leading the East. Yankees are behind, a game behind 4.0. Red Sox 6.0. The Rays are 7.5, and Baltimore is essentially on the bottom with 14.5. All right, you have the Tigers at 60-41. They're leading the Central. Cleveland 49-50. Royals 49-52. Minnesota Twins 48-52. I'm going to say it as it is, and this is how it always felt. Baseball has too many goals. I think 100 to 101 is enough for Major League Baseball. I don't know why they do 162 games. I still don't know. I probably should look that up because I personally always felt that it's a little bit of a over. I don't think no NFL, no freaking sport league should have 100 games. That is, listen, it's hard for me to swallow the fact that the NHL is going to be expanded to 48 games. 84 games, and then the NBA is talking about something similar. Like, it's getting crazy. So let's go to NHL news. Connor McDavid's contract drama. Elite center Connor McDavid still has to be done contract extension talks with the Edmonton Oilers. Field speculation he might test free agency despite the Oilers landing the race. A Stanley Cup contender is reportedly gaining traction in negotiations. I don't know how that's going to go. Rangers. So the New York's promising rookies, Brendan Allman and Gabe Perrette, are battling for roster spots. Defensemen like Matthew Robinson and Scott Morrow also aim to carve out woes, making a compelling developmental. The Kachuk Cup celebration spreads. Florida Panthers star Matthew Kachuk continues to make headlines, this time with a flashy wedding following back-to-back Stanley Cup titles. His off-ice choices like taking the cup to a jail remains polarized. Corey Perry signs with the Kings. Veteran Corey Perry inked a one-year deal with the LA Kings at the age of 40, keeping his sights locked on another Stanley Cup run. That's some big stuff going on. The question I have right now is where are we going to go with this in terms of where is Connor McDavid? Is he going to stay with Edmonton or is he going to leave? That is the question. Are the Panthers going to win again? I am not a fan of the Florida Panthers. I normally joke around and I call them the Florida Meth Cats, but I have to give kudos to where it belongs, with them being such a very dominant hockey program right now, which once again, pretty surprised about Florida. And same thing goes for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was just never a fan of these Florida teams, and now it's like, what is going on? All right, NBA news. Chris Paul returns to Clippers on a one-year deal, $3.6 million deal, aiming for one last style shot. Critics like Kendrick Perkins slams the move following the roster. Doug McDermott rejoins the Kings on a $3.6 deal to boost their Paramiller shooting going into the 2025-26 season. International deadline drama. Jonas Volkanis, can't pronounce the last name for life of me, now with Denver sparked a tug of war after agreeing to terms with Canada goes only for the Nuggets to retain him. Oof. Okay. We already know that the Charlotte Hornets went 6-0 and won the Summer League championship, Summer League title, which I don't know why that's even a thing. So that's all. That's all for actual news in the NBA, minus the fact that right now they're pushing the narrative that the Thunder is on a dynasty potential run. Listen, they could have the Celtics. Look at that one. And I'm Celtics. So we should have won. We should have went back and we should have won. And it didn't happen. So if the Thunder does do a back-to-back, it would be very shocking. But I don't see that happening. I see the NBA. The NBA changes a lot, man. NBA is not like some leagues where you can kind of, it's very predictable who's going to make it in. NBA changes a lot. It doesn't stay consistent. Like, oh, look at this guy. Bam, this guy did this and that. No, it's always different. And I think no one understands that. You know? But let me look at the free agencies here in the NBA. Atlanta Hawks added Nikolai Alexander Walker agrees to a 4-year deal via signing trade. Luke Kendrick agrees to a 1-year deal officially announced. Former Celtics player Christopher Pacquiao joins a 3-day trade officially announced. Departures for the Hawks is Blitz departs in free agency to the Rockets. Karis Levesque departs in free agency to the Pistons. Larry Nance Jr. departs in free agency to the Cavs. Cameron Smith departs via the 3-day trade. George Sinn departs via the 3-day trade. And then David Roddy Wade officially announced. Celtics has no re-signings. However, additions are George's joined via 3-team trade. Luka Gaza agrees to a 2-year deal. Josh Minutes agrees to a 2-year deal. Simmons joins the trade with the Trailblazers. The people who the Celtics lost. Holiday, the Trailblazers. Fournette, the Spurs, and Penangas in a 3-team trade. I will have to say, what hurts me the most looking at this has to be Luke Fournette. I know that makes no sense, but deep inside of my Celtic soul, I am very bothered by him leaving. The Brooklyn Nets re-signed De'Ron Sharpe to a 2-year deal. Dan Williams turns on a 2-year deal. Additions transferring the 3-team trade. Michael Porter Jr. joins via the trade with the Nuggets. Departures: Cam Johnson trade with the Nuggets. D'Angelo Russell goes to the Mavericks in free agency. Trenton Watford departs in free agency to the 76ers. Charlotte Hornets re-signed Trey Mann to a 3-year. Additions from a trade with the Bucks, they got Pat Culligan, Spencer Dinwiddie agrees to a 1-year deal. Mason Plumlee agrees to a 1-year deal. Colin Sexton joins by a trade with the Jazz. Departures: Nurkic to the Jazz trade. Nikic departs with the Bucks. Horrible last names. Mark Williams departs with a trade with the Suns. Chicago Bulls signed Trey Jones to a 3-year. Additions: they added Isaac Okoro joins the Cavs, and departures: Lonzo Ball departs via trade with the Cavs. Okay. The Cleveland Cavaliers re-signing Sam Morril returns on the 40. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop this because these names are getting very hard for me to announce. I'm going to butcher the shit out of it. I don't want that. I don't think you guys. I don't want that to be a soundbite. Oh, this guy, what he's saying, you can't pronounce this guy's last name. I can't. Garbage. But I will have to say I am very sharp with Marcus Smart. Signed a 2-year deal with the Lakers. I was hopeful he was going to come back to the Celtics. That did not happen. You can say goes to one of our rivals. So mad when I throw the ball and cry over it. But thus the sports cycle continues. Some people on these kick things randomly just popping up in the comments, and I have no clue who half these people are. All right. Well, with that being said, that's it for sports for today. I'll be back tomorrow for episode 7 at 9:30. We moved our show to 9:30 Monday through Friday. It's slightly easier for me with everything that's going on for me. So this is the Morning Blitz Sports Talk on the Hardcore Sports Network, and we'll talk to you next time.